I can hear Rabbi Sam talking.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's live streaming, okay.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat
It's
Shalom.
wonderful to be together.
Indeed it is. Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi. Welcome home.
Wonderful to be together on the Shabbat and to be back with you all as we enter into another week, Parshat Vayera, as we continue the stories of Abraham into, really actually a lot happens in our Parsha this week, and we'll get into some of that a little bit later in our service. But we will begin with our Mincha service by ending our week on page 1 of the Sim Shalom, the blue Sim Shalom for Shabbat and festivals. You can find a PDF on the homepage of our website as well for anyone who would like to join us that way. Or just sit back and open up your voices and we'll sing together. Ashrei yoshvei beitecha od yelelucha sela Ashrei am shekacha lo Ashrei am shadonai Elohav v'tilad David imcha b'chol yom v'chaka v'lashamcha le'olamei b'chol yom Hadag v'ladech 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 כבוד חודך מחוב כל מימם פותח את ידיך מסביר וחוקרת תהילת אדוני ידבר פיו יברך כל בשר שם קודשו לעולם ועד ואנחנו נברך יה מעתה ועד עולם הללויה. We rise in body or in spirit for the Amidah, which will begin aloud with the first 2 blessings on page 3b. We'll skip over the Kedusha and take a few moments of private meditation to offer the prayers of our Siddur to get ourselves in the mood for Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Anora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot, U'Mevi Goal Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Yava, Melech Ozer U'Foked, U'Moshia U'Magein, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magin Avraham ופוקד שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, נאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים, את הקדוש שלך, הקדוש קדושים בכל ימלוך הסלה, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש, אתה חונן. Ose shalom b'meromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen ve'imeru amen. We continue standing as we recite together the Aleinu on page 11. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו קריי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, ויגור עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נולד שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, עמד מלכנו ופסולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשיבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד על כן נגלחנו ותקן עולם במלכות שדי ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. We invite all to enable their microphones in support of those who are in mourning as we recite the Mourner's Kaddish on page 12. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba, ve'alma divra kirutei v'yamnich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei zechol beit Yisrael, b'gala v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach le'olam le'olayah. Yiparach v'yishtabach, yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudusha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, shbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom imromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yisrael v'yimru Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. Welcome to our service. Rabbi Blessing, welcome back.
Good to
to
be
have
back.
you. Good to have you up on the Amud at the Bima, leading us this evening in services. My friends, we are entering into the Sabbath. And there's a lot of things we do to prepare. We prepare our bodies in specific ways. We prepare our homes. We prepare our tables. We prepare our emails and our phones, hopefully turning them off as we enter into this space. There's a lot of preparations. But there's also a spiritual preparation, which you hope all those things bring in. But it could also be really a lot of busy work, truthfully. Maybe running to put in the last load of laundry, might be running to answer one or two more emails, which is exactly what I was doing, which is why I'm appearing now and not earlier. Just those last little pieces, trying to get them done. But there also needs to be a spiritual preparation. Because you need to listen, you need to see the world differently, you need to hear the world differently. So in this time, I hope that we could listen to melodies, we could listen to our breath, we could listen to our heart, we could listen to each other in very different ways as we enter into this Shabbat practice, a practice of Shabbat. And so I want to offer a reading. What has been penned, the Sephardi quarter note. If you listen to the space between the notes and the half notes, the space between heartbeats, you'll hear quarter notes of love and of yearning, ancient music of hope and sorrow, infinite in variations, the echo of generations. Notes that bend towards God, notes that linger with longing, notes that plead for redemption, notes that declare, Torah is my life and mitzvot are my honor. Notes that proclaim, I am waiting for you, God of Abraham. Notes that surrender, notes that refuse to surrender. Notes that cry out to Zion and to Israel, the voice of sorrow and the voice of laughter. If you listen to the space between the notes and the half notes, the rise and the falls, the trills and the trumpets, you will hear the rhythm and the pulse calling out, Adon Olam, Yadid Nefesh, Shachar Avakeshcha, Yaducha Re'enuha. Master of the universe, beloved is our hearts. At dawn we seek you, our thoughts and our prayers. In the space between the notes, dream of God. Touch the core of being to become music. We begin with Shalom Aleichem, page 13.
In honor of our parsha this week, which is filled with the angels. The angels begin our parsha as they come to visit Abraham, the three men who come after his circumcision, who come to let him know of the blessing that he and Sarah will receive, but also of the fate of Sodom and Gomorrah. Later in the parsha, we see with Hagar and Ishmael as they're in the desert, starving and without water, an angel visits them, and a well magically appears in that moment, and they're taken care of by God. And at the end of the parsha, the Akedah, the binding of Isaac, an angel comes down just as Abraham is about to sacrifice his son, and stops him. And these angels fill up our parsha, but they also fill up our Shabbat as they come in bearing blessings for us with Shalom Aleichem on page 13. And so we'll use the melody that we started to use for Oseh Shalom earlier, B'Shem Hashem, where often people use this as a lullaby, asking the angels to come and bless them, their children, their families, with a peaceful night and on Shabbat, a Shabbat of Shalom, of peace, of rest, and of presence. So I'll invite you as we pray Shalom Aleichem to think about who are the Anashim, who are the people in your lives that are like angels, and let's send them a little bit of blessing. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Moachem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni leShalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeidchem leShalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yelalai dai 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 dai, ay dai 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 dai, ay dai dai ay dai. Allah da di di da 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 da, ay da 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 da, ya la la da 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 da, ay da 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 ya da da, la la ya da 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 da. Page 15, Lachuna Ranana. Let's raise our voices in song and in praise. L'chun eranina l'Adonai, l'chun eranina l'Adonai, nariya l'tzur yisheinu nekadma fanav etzoda, nariya l'tzur yisheinu nekadma fanav etzoda, mizmirod nariya lo, l'chun eranina l'Adonai, l'chun eranina l'Adonai, nariya l'tzur yisheinu nekadma fanav etzoda, nariya l'tzur yisheinu nekadma fanav etzoda, mizmirod nariya lo, mizmirod nariya lo, mizmirod nariya lo. Ki agadol Adonai melech haolam asher biyado mechari haaretz. Arbaim shana akut bedor valmar at metoy levavhem vehem lo yadu derachai Hashem nishbati v'api Im yivon el menuchati yedida yeda yeda yedida yeda yeda da 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 yedida yeda yeda yedida da 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 yedida yeda 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 yedida yeda yeda yedida yeda yeda yedida da 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 Page 16. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו, ספרו בגויים כבודו, בכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים עידי, כי כל אלוהי העמים אלילים, ואדוני שמיים עשה, הוד והדר לפניו, עוז ותפארת במקדשו, אבו לאדוני משפחות עמים, אבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, אבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, שאו מנחה ובואו לחצרותיו, עידי ישתחוו לאדוני בחדרת קודש, חילו מפניו כל הארץ, אמרו בגויים אדוני מלך, אף תיכון תבל בעל תימות, ידין עמים במישרים, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירם הים ומלוא, יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו, עידי אז ירננו כל הצייר לפני אדוני, כי בא לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, ועמים באמונתו, Adonai malach tagel haaretz, page 17, Yismachuim rabim, Anan veravat sevivav tzedek, mishma malach yisoish, lefanav telech udelei vitzarav. Harim kananam nesli Adonai, Shema v'titzav, Madishvah Adonai ki atzad, Or zaru ala tzadik o Yishrei lev simcha, simchu tzadikim b'Adonai vehodu lezecher kodsho. Mizmor shir l'Adonai shir chadash k'niflaot asa, o shir lo yimino zera kodsho yidivash v'mizach. Zameru l'Adonai mechinor, mechinor v'kol zimra, b'chatzotzrot v'kol shofar, hariu lifnei hamelech Adonai. Zameru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra, b'chatzotzrot v'kol shofar, hariu lifnei hamelech Adonai. Yiram hayam umlo, tevel v'yoshveva, ne'arod yimecha uchaf, יחד הרים ירננו, לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, בעמים במישרים. ירם הים ומלואו, תבל ויושבה, מערות עמך וכף, יחד הרים ירננו. Adonai Malach Yigazu Amim, page 19, Yoshev Gruvim Tenutaretz. Adonai B'Tzilad B'Averam Hu Kol Amim, Yodu Shimcha Gadol Groshu, Yos Melech Mishpat Ayved Mishum. Amam Adonai Elohein, Misham Adonai Be'amudan Nidabel. Romimu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. 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 V'ishtachavu le'akodsho, v'ishtachavu le'akodsho, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Romimu, Romimu, Adonai Eloheinu. Romimu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. V'ishtachavu le'akodsho, v'ishtachavu le'akodsho, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Romimu, Romimu, Adonai Eloheinu. Romimu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Romimu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. Romimu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. We rise for Psalm 29 on page 20. Zemol David, Avul Adonai ben Elim, Avul Adonai, Kavod va'oz, Aidai, Avul Adonai, Kevod Shemo, Ishtachavu Adonai, Hadrat Kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, El HaKavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim, Kol Adonai Makoach Haidai, Kol Adonai Be'adar, Kol Adonai Shover Arazim, V'yishaber Adonai et Arzi Alvanon, V'yarkideim kemo egel Levanon, V'sirion כמו ואין רמי מעידי, כל אדוני חוצב לבוטיש, כל אדוני יאכיל מדבר, יאכיל אדוני מדבר קריש, Kol Adonai Yechol Layalot Bayechesov Yerot Uveichalo Ulo Merkavod Aidai Adonai Lama Bu Yashav Yishev Adonai Melech Leolam Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitein Adonai Yivarech Tamo V'Shalom Yedidai Aidai Aidai Anidai Aidai Aidai Anidai Aidai Alidai Aidai. We're seated for the Charodi, page 21. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela Shamma v'zachor b'dibur echad Ishmi'anu elam yuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad L'shem bo tiferet ve'litila Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha ki mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machshava techila lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela Mikdash melech hir melucha Gumiti mitoch hafecha Rav lach shevet be'emek habacha Behu yachamol alayich chemla Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela Hinari me'afar kumi Livshi bigdei tifatechami Aliyad ben Yishai beit halachmi Korvan nafshi gela Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela Hitoreri ki va'orech umiori Uri shir daberi kevod Adonai alayich nigla Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela lo tzevoshi velo tzikalmi ma tishtochechi ומה תמי בך יחסו עמי ונבנתה עיר עתילה ולך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה היו למשיסה שורסייך ורחקו כל מבלייך יסיס עלייך אלוהיך כמסוס חתן על כלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה ימין ושמאל תפרוד ציוות אדוני, תריצי על יד איש, בן פרצי ונשמחה ונגילה, הולך אדוני, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה, ובצולה תוך אמונה, עם סגולה בואי חלה, בואי חלה לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Ayda da da la di da da da, anay di da da la di da 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 da, ayda da 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 yamri da bamba, la la yamba ba yamba bamba, yalla da da, ayda yamri da da da.
Please be seated. As we turn to page 23, I want to offer a thought about this psalm. If you were with us last week, I talked a little bit about how Psalm 92 on page 23 it might have been once upon a time the beginning of our Shabbat service, our Kabbalat Shabbat service. One of the ways where this is hinted at is that people who are in mourning or in the state of Shiva don't enter the synagogue until this point in the service. We exclude them from being part of all the singing and other things that we do before, presumably because of their state of mind, not wanting to encourage them or even require them to act out in joyful ways when they're in such a state of sadness. But the very fact that our tradition says that they join at this psalm, we keep them out in the lobby until this psalm comes up, after Lachadodi, after all those other wonderful prayers that we sing, and invite them in, is somewhat in rabbinic or halachic text, proof positive that the other things we didn't need to do, because we wouldn't exclude anybody from doing something that they needed to do, and instead we invite them in at this point. So what I talked about last week is how the Kabbalat Shabbat service is also modern liturgy for our Jewish tradition, only about 500 years old. In the whole scheme of Judaism, that's extremely modern. That's very, very kind of high tech for Judaism to only be 500 years old. So we start on this Psalm 92 with the Psalm of the day. And as I mentioned last time, Lachadodi might have been an introduction at one time to this Psalm, of course, being the beginning of our Kabbalat Shabbat experience and leading our way into the Mariv service. But it's a really interesting psalm if you look at it, because it says, Mizmor Shir LeYom HaShabbat, this is a joyous psalm or song for the Sabbath day, but as you read through it, it's kind of hard to find those Shabbos kernels, those mentions of Shabbat throughout. So I wanted to frame it for us to understand in something that I'm going through at the time, and you might also share this practice. I journal. I don't know if anybody else does. I have books that I journal in, and I wish I could say that one day the world will unearth my journals and find incredible inspiration. But more than likely, they'll unearth my journals and realize that there was something really wrong with that rabbi. Because I use my journals as more of a self-help guide to air my grievances, to open up about some of my shortcomings, and to really try to express some of the struggles that I'm having. So it's somewhat of a chaotic experience in my journals, which is why my last act on earth will be to burn all my journals before anybody reads them, because I don't want anybody ever to look at them. But they've been extremely helpful to me, the entire practice of journaling, because I do exactly what I said. I write down, I express those things that are troubling to me, that are difficult. And as many of us know, sometimes just articulating a problem helps us either to find the solution or to realize oftentimes that the issue is not as big as we thought. even might sound ridiculous. And saying that brings a certain amount of humor to it in which we could then push through. Certain issues, of course, don't hit that, but many that I find that I deal with do. And this psalm in particular is an interesting one because it begins mentioning Shabbat, but as you make your way through it begins with some of the kind of normal ways that Psalms express love for God, that we will proclaim God's greatness in the morning. You don't need Shabbat to proclaim God's greatness. You do that every day of the week. And soon as you get through the page, Bifroach Rashiim Kamo Esev, that the wicked will sprout like grass, meaning that their efforts, their wickedness will spring up like grass, but then will fade away, will quickly die away. And if you go down to the bottom, the piece that we often sing, Tzadik Katamar Yifrach, it's a connection between those two parts. The wicked will bifroach, parach, will sprout, and it'll amount to nothing, whereas the tzaddik, the righteous, 4 lines from the bottom, katamar, like a date palm, yifrach. It's the same word, same verb. The righteous will sprout strong and hardy. And of course, we can look at this as enemies that we have, external enemies, but oftentimes when I'm journaling, I don't worry too much about my external enemies and instead focus on my internal enemies. And so this psalm, with all of its talk about enemies that will amount to nothing and their plans will eventually go the way of all flesh, but yet righteousness will rise up and will stand firm, very much seems to me to be a good insight into my own journaling. All those things that I struggle with, whether it's my eating, whether it's my inability to exercise as much as I should, whether it's my impatience with my family, or the times that I'm not as present for the people that I need to care about and that I do care about. All those things oftentimes feel like it's an enemy of mine. It's what's getting in the way. But this time, spiritual time, Shabbat time, lets me sit and remember that those will fade away if I let them go. They will fade like grass if I don't hold on to them, if I don't continue to water them, if I don't continue to pay attention, pay heed to them. They will eventually go away. I could develop more patience. I could develop more ambition, more any of those other words that's escaping me at the moment. But I need that spiritual time to just sit and to just remember that the things that I hope are good in my soul will come out if I give them their due, if I give them their attention. So I find this psalm, although it might not exactly speak in exact language about Shabbat, it has everything to do with Shabbat. Because this is the time where we get to get away from all those internal enemies that hold us back, that hold us down, that get in the way from us being our true and best self, and give us some time to tzadi katamar yifrach, to let what is righteousness, the righteousness that's inside us, really take root and grow up strong like a date palm. This is better journaling than you'll find in my books that I keep around my house. This is definitely something that I would save. Page 23, Psalm 92.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת. טוב להודות אדוני וזמר לשירך עליון, לעת בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך במעלילות. אל יסר מה גלו מעשיך כי הנה אויביך אדוני, כי הנה אויביך יאבדו ויפלו כל ים, בין בטרם קרים גני, ולא תיבשם עיניהם ותבט עיניהם בשלום. צדיק כתמר יפרח, כארז בלבנון יזכה, שתולים מבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. Nishenim Rananim Iyu Lehagid Ki Ashar Adonai Tzuri Velo Avla Tabor Adonai Malaki Ulavish Lavish Adonai Osita Zarav Tikon Tevel Baltimore Edotechan lemnu meor levirchana v'kodesh Adonai leorech yamim. We invite all to enable their microphones in support of those who are mourning as mourners rise for Kaddish Yatom in the middle of page 24. Yitkadav, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Me'amad Yivra Kilotei, V'yamich Malchutei, B'chayechon, V'yomechon, V'chayei Zechol Beit Yisrael, B'agalav, V'yizman Kariv, Yimru Amen, Yehei Shmei Rabbah V'varach Le'olam, Amen. Yiparach v'yishtabach, Yipar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yit'halal shemei dikudusha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran da'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemayim, chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Aseh shalom b'mamav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen.
As we make our way into our evening service on page 28, I offer words for the arrival of Shabbat. Well of life, bless our hearts with the gift of Shabbat, the presence of your love in our pulse, your glory in our chest, and your wonder in our breath. Bless our eyes with the gift of Shabbat, the beauty of the candlesticks, the Kiddush cup, the halot. Bless our lips with the gift of Shabbat, rejoicing in song and prayer, our melodies ancient and new. Bless our ears with the gifts of Shabbat, hymns and praises, the nigunim of old, the blessing words of Torah. Bless our soul with the gift of Shabbat, the awe and thanksgiving, the calm and the surrender, the beauty, righteousness, and peace. Let these gifts descend gently upon all your people, so that together, wherever we may be, in one voice, and from all four corners of the earth, we sing, Boachem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Come in peace, messenger of peace, angel of the Most High. Page 28.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bivaro mariv aravim chochma poteach she'arim, uyuna meshana yitim umagliv et הזמנים מסדר את הכוכבים במשרותיהם, ברקיע כרצונו יום. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, מבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים. אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת, תורה מצוות וקיימו שמיטה ונשמח בדברי תורה וקים חיינו ורחמנו. מאהבתך תשימנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. Recite the Shema together, page 30, Al Melech Ne'eman. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, והיה עם שמור לאהבת ושמיים על הארץ, אדוני משלים מדבר, בני ישראל תצית, תצית וריתם Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 32. Emet ve'emunah kol zot v'kayam aleinu. ואנחנו נסתמו אפותינו מהמלכים, עתידנו וזננו, הפסק לא תנחקה, מספר המשנה, הפסקנו מנסגנו, ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ובני ישראל, לכנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אל מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Read together at the top of page 33 in English. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praised are you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Ufros aleinu sukat shelomecha, baruch atah Adonai, הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. Yerushalayim. We rise on page 34 for Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat yeriday לעשות את השבת לדורותם מרית עולם עידי מני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. Take a few moments for our private meditation using the words of the Amidah beginning on page 35. We're taking a few moments just to sit in the expansiveness of a Shabbat. Say shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'al kol yoshvei tevel V'yimeru amen, v'yimeru amen, v'yimeru amen. I invite you now to grab a kiddush, some wine or some grape juice, to join us as we help to sanctify Shabbat with the first paragraph on page 47, and then we'll jump to page 49. Vayechulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzivam vayechal Elohim bayom hashvi melachto asher asa vayishpot ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבה מכל מלאכתו, אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. צברי חבריי, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצבנו, בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית. כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen.
If we're not already standing, we rise for Aleinu, page 51. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונה. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נודע שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום השבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא אלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ולארץ מתחת אינו דל. לתקן עולם וחוד שלם. כתוב בדרך. כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו echad.
We continue our Shloshim 30 days after passing, remembering Bailey Olam, the sister of Goldie Weiss and of Ann Olam, Sylvia Arnold, mother to Hal and Dorita Arnold, to Bonnie Arnold and Amy Arnold, Perry Baruch, good friend, the life partner of Carol Keith, Doug Friedman, the husband of Jeannie Friedman, brother to Robin Speisman, and Kaki Mendel, the wife of Larry Mendel, and daughter-in-law to Joanne Mendel. We also note the yurtzites today. This is the 17th of Heshvan. For Ellen Faye Arnovitz, the sister to Elliot and Phyllis Arnovitz, niece to Harold Arnovitz. Rose Doran, the grandmother of Rabbi Neil and Susan Sandler. Harry Sandler, the uncle of Rabbi Neil and Susan Sandler. And Maurice Dralick, the brother to Sam and Marvin Dralick. We also continue to walk with those who come morning and evening to our daily minyan, remembering Francine Tillum, mother to Lori and Jordan Foreman, and Mitzi Tillum, Barry Levenstein, cousin to Lori, Mitzi, and Jordan, Judy Bressler, mother to Richard and Mindy Bressler, Rosalind Schloss, mother to Karen Hanrahan and Andy Siegel, Danny Lippett, son of Linda and Alan Lippett, Cheryl Tuttle, sister of Esther and Michael Levine, Andrew Wiesenberg, Jerry Wiesenberg, father to Andrew Wiesenberg, Yehuva ben David, mother to Tova and Mark Cohen. Adrian Cohen, wife of Kelly Inney. Stanley Shiroki, cousin to Ivan Millender. Herbert Singer, husband to Joanne Singer, father to Mindy and Richard Bressler. Lisa and Eric Plasker, Cheryl and Michael Weiss. Henry Burnbury, father to David Burnbury, Lynette Cohen, sister to Philip and Donna Newman. Bee Blass, mother to Charlotte and Alan Kaminsky, Alan and Betty Blass, sister to Donald Reisman. Stanley Bloomberg, father to Stacy and John Guerin. Steve Marcus, husband to Sandy Marcus, father to Larry and Brian Marcus, uncle to Bathsheba Fullenhall. Carol Wexler, mother to Jill and Robert Rosner, Jeff Wexler and Ellen Pillsbury. Harris Pavlot, father to Arthur and Dara Pavlot. Pauline Cohen, mother to Stanley Cohen and to Walter and Lisa Cohen. Daniel Melnick, the husband of Diane Melnick. John Sherman McDade, husband to Marcia McDade, brother-in-law to Jeannie and Bob Tepper. Rose Berman, sister to Donald Reisman. Bella Haya Batsari, the close friend of Marilyn Winston. Shirley Bornstein, stepmother to Linda and Carrie Landis. Peppy and Alan Walken. Norman Arm, uncle to Sheila Edelman. Demetrius Coffey, close friend of Alan Wexler. And if I've omitted any names, please forgive me, but do know that we continue to walk with you, to support you as you continue on your journey, remembering in heart and in love those that you keep very close to you. As we say the Mornis Kaddish, enable our microphone joining together in the call and response, page 52. Yit Gadal, V'yit Gadash, Shemei Rabba, Ma Divra Kirite, V'yamlis Malchute, V'chayachon V'yomei V'yomei Yisrael, Ba'agala, V'zman Kari, V'imru, Amen, V'hei Rabba Bavrach, V'lam Omei Amaya, Yiparach, V'yishtabach, V'yipa'ar, V'yipurman, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shmei D'Kedusha, V'yihu, La'ela Minkol B'chata V'shirata, Tush B'chata V'nechamata, Da'amiran B'yoma V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu V'Akol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen.
Oseh shalom b'Rama, Uyaseh shalom Aleinu v'Kol Yisrael b'Imru. Amen.
Amen.
Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Rabbi Blesson, good to have you back. Thank you for being with us. Melissa Baden did a wonderful job last week as well, so thank you for all the tutelage you've given her and kind of koach you've given her to step up and be in your stead when you're not here. So it was really wonderful having her, and I'm glad that all your efforts are paying off.
And a special happy birthday to Natalie, her daughter. They're
today?
celebrating, I think. No, it was during the middle of the week, but I think they're celebrating over Shabbat. Melissa will be back with us next week for services.
Wonderful. Oh, that's great to hear. We have a lot going on. Blood Drive is coming up along with Rabbi Blesson. What else is coming on? My mind is blank at the moment.
Blood Drive's a big one. Tuesdays at AA continue.
Tuesday, we're doing the Hartman Institute curriculum. It's been really meaningful, so I hope you'll join us. I think a movie for Mac Meets is coming up soon. The bulletin is your friend. So please take a look at the Wednesday e-blast, take a look at the website. Really, everything's there. It's better than taking it from your rabbi because we can't remember what happened this morning. So it's better that you follow what's written. Tomorrow morning is 9:30 in the morning. Steve Chervin is leading Torah study at 10:30. Our minyan will be in the evening at 6:45 online. So I hope you'll join us for all that's going on.
You might have seen it on Facebook or on YouTube if you follow us on those places. But Rabbi Josh Warshawski just came out with his new album of liturgical music, featuring one of the songs which we posted of him, two of the songs that he sang as part of our Friday night service, the Idiyat Nefesh and L'chuin Ranana that we did tonight, are featured on that album. So you can hear the album versions of those. Go support him and check him out.
Yeah.
It's good Shabbos music.
Yeah, definitely. So check him out on Spotify. What was so fun about listening, because I also listened to the album this week when you mentioned it earlier this week. I know all the songs. And so I was like, wait a second, I've heard all these. And where did I hear them? I heard them at AA first. So definitely check him out. And like I shared with Rabbi Bluston, he often uses Rabbi Warshawski's Havdalah Melody. So if you join us tomorrow night at 6:45, Rabbi Warshawski wrote the melody that Rabbi Blesson leads us in. And I told Rabbi Blesson, I like when Rabbi Blesson does it better than I liked when Josh Warshawski did it. So he might have written it, but our rabbi does it better. At least that's my opinion. We're going to conclude our service with Yigdal, page 53.
We'll cut that part out of the recording.
Yeah, we'll cut that out of it. No, don't worry. Nobody will know.
יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח נמצא והנה את מציאותו אחד ואין יחיד כי ייחודו נעלם וגם אין סוף לאחדותו אין לו דמות הגוף ואינו גוף לא נערוך אליו קדושתו קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא ראשון ואין ראשית לראשית שיטו, הינו אדון עולם בכל נוצר, יורה גדולתו ומלכותו, שפע נבואתו נתנו, אל אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו, לא קם בישראל כמו שאול, נביא ומביט את תמונתו, תורת אמת נתן מהמועל, על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו, לא יכל יפאר ולא ימיר דתו, לעולמים לזולתו, צופה ויודע סתרנו, מביט לסוף דבר בקדמתו, גומל לאיש חסר כמפעלו, נותן רשע רע כרישתו, ישלח לקץ הימין משיחנו, לפתור מחכה קץ ישועתו, מתים יחייר ברוב חסדו, ברוך הדיין שם תהילתו, מתים יחייר ברוב חסדו, ברוך הדיין שם תהילתו. Good Shabbos, everyone. And we will see you soon.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.